Hello and welcome to the Short Box Shorts. My name is Jared. I've got Mr. Chris here. I've got Mr. Donald. I've got Mr. Kevin here. If you've joined us on any of these previously, we kind of take a topic, a subject, and we just give a kind of brief discussion about it. Today, tonight, this morning, wherever you are in this world, at whatever time, we are talking about the history of DC films and the history of the company and what's going to happen with this because you know they've had a rocky start to say the least, but there's a lot of positive happening right now. And Kevin, what just transpired as far as business transactions for the company?
Well, quite literally about 2 weeks ago, Warner Brothers Discovery was created as a new company. Basically, AT&T decided to sell off most of its stake in Warner Brothers and all of the companies that are part of it. Basically, the Warner Group, which has, of course, there's DC Films, HBO, CNN, Warner Brothers Studios, so forth and so on. So with that, AT&T, they have a lot of debt issues. From what I'm reading here, they received $43 billion in cash.
Damn.
To get out of it, to get out of this, to get out of the deal, get rid of most of the Warner Brothers properties.
God, that's just a ginormous amount of money.
Yeah, they had a lot of debt when they bought it. They got a ton of debt, and plus AT&T's thing is telecommunications. Discovery understands more of the entertainment industry and movies and TV shows, and so the currency. Go ahead.
It was like, I'm sorry, it's like Coca-Cola when they bought Sony, TriStar Pictures.
Columbia. Yeah, they bought Columbia. Yeah.
Didn't Disney spend like a ton of money on Fox? Wasn't it like similar like that?
Yeah, something like that. They spent a whole lot of money on Fox, but of course Disney is a more, at least at the time, more stable company in comparison to Time Warner and Warner Media and all that stuff. So, but the current CEO, David Zaslav, who runs Discovery, is basically the new big cheese of everything. He smartly, from what we are hearing, is going to restructure the DC properties and DC films. He understands that, hey, there's a lot of money to be made if this stuff's done right. He saw what's going on at Disney and Marvel Studios. He wants to basically do exactly what they're doing. He wants to hire a Kevin Feige type figure to come in, streamline things, keep things on track, and not have 50 people or 50 hands. And basically, what's that thing we used to like that you showed me, Donald? Too many cooks.
Yeah.
To make sure we don't have too many cooks in the kitchen.
All right.
Basically, it's gonna be one chef.
Here's my hot take on this, or my problem. We already had that. It was Zack Snyder. They put all of their eggs in one basket, and he tripped and fell, and half the eggs cracked. So, what do we do to prevent that? And how do we move forward with some type of preventative measure in case they don't have somebody like a Feige, or they can't get somebody like him?
They're going to take their time on this a little bit. They're going to look for someone who has producing experience in movies and TV, someone who has a track record of success when it comes to these type of things. So they're not going to just throw it at a filmmaker per se necessarily, as far as I know. I could be wrong. But find someone who has a track record to get things right and keep things streamlined and keep everything disciplined. And they're going to spend a lot of money.
Was Feige a director before he started producing all these films?
No. He worked at Fox on some of the X-Men movies originally.
All right. So this to me makes sense then. Why does DC, why does the people that own DC always feel the need to take a director or think that a director is the correct approach when Feige was a producer originally? Do they see that there's kind of that disconnect there, or do they not care? Or
they have
under new leadership they do?
Didn't they have Geoff Johns kind of neck and neck with Snyder though? So like Geoff Johns, who strangely came from film first, in production and stuff like that. He used to work
for Donner, Richard Donner.
Yep.
And matter of fact, Kevin Feige did too, interestingly enough.
And then, he's the guy. Yeah, I mean that's like a king right there. Donner's a king. So you had Geoff Johns, who seemed like a smart, like a kind of ideal pick, but for some reason I don't know if it was just too much pressure.
I think it was too much. He had too much going on. He couldn't focus on one thing.
I mean, Johns was like a hell of he was one of my favorite comic writers at one point.
Yes.
And then, and then having his film background seemed kind of like the ideal choice.
But also, he didn't have all the power that you think either. You know, again, there were too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks. If they're smart, and this is I have a theory, which kind of goes against some of the stuff we were saying about choosing a filmmaker. If they're smart, they won't just hand everything to this person, like, because Kevin Feige is the figurehead, but there's a billion people behind him helping him out and structuring. He's not doing this all by himself, but he's a figurehead. I think a good figurehead for DC would be the one and only James Gunn. Because what he did for the Suicide Squad, what he did for Peacemaker on the HBO, I mean, he's nailed the theaters, and he nailed the movie, and he nailed the TV back to back.
Right. Okay. So my question for you then, Jarrett, is: would you be okay with them splitting the tasks and saying, "Look, Gunn, we know that you have a penchant for the under characters, the underserved, the
Right.
C's and D's.
Yeah.
We will give you every one of those and put every one of them at your disposal. But we need to keep the big guns, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and so on, and keep that in separate hands of other directors and other producers that will then create that kind of tapestry." So while Gunn is creating this kind of C and D level DC universe and building that out, they're building this other larger tapestry also of the big gun DC characters. That way, he's not as overwhelmed, and we can see then that once that world forms and the other world forms, then we can start to unify more. Does that sound?
110%, because I also think, and I think he would, if he was offered like the keys to the kingdom, he wouldn't want them, because he is, at first and foremost, he's a filmmaker. That guy loves making films. So I think anything to take away from like giving him more pressure to run something, so to speak. But whereas if he could be the Walt Disney, like you were saying, of the CD characters of DC, I think
like Deadman.
Yeah, I think he'd be a kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him kind of like in the same boat that they are with the Mandalorian, Dave Filoni and what's his name, where they're kind of like starting a whole new, Jon Favreau. They're kind of creating kind of this Disney TV Star Wars universe, and I could see James Gunn in a similar situation to that.
So I got it. Maybe have James Gunn do the TV stuff, and then have someone do the movie side. Maybe that could work.
But here's the thing: we can't get to Arrowverse level quality.
No. We got to take it up.
Peacemaker level quality and above. We can never.
And Titans has pretty good, looks good too. So I think that's up there too. Titan, Peacemaker.
I think Titans is in between.
Doom Patrol. How about that?
But it's just below what we saw with Peacemaker. So Titans, I feel like could have done better.
Doom Patrol. I think that looks good.
I think it's a rare hit. Like, I think it's fantastic. I don't know how much of that you could have changed to make it any better, to be honest, because it is so starkly different from the rest of the DC universe. It is so weird and so weirdly done. It's really its own unique thing, and I'm so glad it exists.
It's kind of their X-Men in a way.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like they're freakish X-Men. I think Titans is like 2 notches above the CW stuff, as far as, because they can get away with some more stuff because it's on the HBO Max. But yeah, I think the quality has to be a Peacemaker level and above.
I think we can see that Doom Patrol and Titans was done with DC entertainment money, and we can see what Peacemaker was able to do with HBO money, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
However, I mean, there was a show, was it Stargirl, who was made with HBO money and is now on CW. So
true. But once they saw like the potential to like, that started to dissolve quickly, and so the whole full budget wasn't given for the full season. Only a partial budget was given, and they were able to produce some really solid episodes. That pilot for Stargirl is fantastic.
It's really good.
It's really well done, and you can see all the money and the talent that they put into it. For them to continue it on in the CW world and be able to continue some form of quality like they were able to do is truly magical. It's a blessing in disguise, and it's something that if they ever decided to take that back into the HBO universe, They easily could, but will they? I doubt it.
Yeah, part of me thinks they should just kind of like keep any quality they can from this, like keep a Doom Patrol and stuff like that, and if they can salvage Titans, do that too, but like also just restart kind of, or continue off of what they're doing with Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, and how those are still tangentially connected to the other DC stuff. It's so
there are so many great DC. I think the thing that separates, in my eyes, DC from Marvel is DC's strength in their B, C, and D level characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they by far have the stronger, lower grade, lower tier characters.
Resurrection Man.
God, they're so well written in a lot of ways. It's so thoughtfully thought out and produced in the comic book page that I think that Marvel would have a hard time keeping up with that. So once DC gets rolling and starts churning out these great hits on HBO, and then starts throwing some of this up into the theater, once people get a following for the HBO series and stuff, you can build a Justice League Dark in HBO Max, and then have the film put on the big screen, and have that tie to it. So you have that synergy. Hey, I got to see all these characters become fully developed in the series of each of them. And then now I get to watch the film. This is so great. This is what Marvel did in film form that Warner Brothers can be smart about in reduce the budget but increase the care with it and create that type of universe as well.
100%. But here's the thing I'm wondering is it too late with all the different with the DC universe, with the multiverse, or whatever Disney or DC's version is called, with it being so many different universes and so many different, like right now in just the film world, we have 5 or 6 different universes. Is that too late to like make a universal DC universe, or would they have to call it the DC multiverse and say, okay, this movie takes place in this universe and this one takes place in this universe? Like, have they already done too much damage to fix that?
Well, the Flashpoint movie is supposed to bring clarification to these things, apparently.
Right. And if you go by Gunn's films and show, he does put Suicide Squad for the most part in that universe, in the big central universe, because he, spoilers, he uses some of the Justice League in his last episode, and obviously used Harley Quinn, Captain Boomer, some of the people from the other Suicide Squad film. So
Peacemaker's last episode, Peacemaker, yeah,
exactly. So I mean, I don't know. Just a quick side note though, because we're talking about these D characters, and the cool thing that Gunn did with Peacemaker is simply by mentioning names, and you would see it the next day on the fan boards. It'd be like, that character's canon now. That character, he says Batmite, and he says Matter Eater Lad, which, oh my God, please use that guy. Don't even make him a Legion of Superhero. Just use that character with that power set. How is that not a James Gunn character screaming a guy who just can eat everything?
True. I think the true merit of a great creator would be to be able to have the capability to make the Legion of Superheroes actually work.
Oh my God, yeah.
In any form, because let me tell you, Lightning Lad and Cosmic Boy, and these names are just killing me.
Yeah.
They're so lame. They're the lamest names of any. They gave it no thought whatsoever.
Yeah.
So to be able to make those characters work somehow in any universe, I think would be fantastic.
Because there have been some great writers who wrote those characters, and there are some great Legion of Superhero series, but yeah, the names are always the killer of it all. It's just the Lad and Lass and all that stuff,
Yeah.
A Rebels TV show would be awesome on HBO Max.
And we're talking about Rebels, which was originally the Legion, L period E period G period I period O period N period. Not Legion of Superheroes. We're talking about Legion.
It's funny because Rebels could kind of in some ways be DC's version of the Mandalorian in a certain sense. You could travel from planet to planet on different adventures with those characters, with Lobo.
Firefly.
Or Firefly, yeah, there we go.
DC's
even better.
Firefly.
Better example. Firefly, even better example. There you go.
Yeah, Viltrox is Malcolm Reynolds. He can be sympathetic, but he's very cold overall and calculating. and it's the other characters that kind of bring him back down to earth, which is great. It's a great dynamic. In fact, some of the trades popped up at the shop that I work at, and I reduced all of the Rebels trades down to $5 each. So people will buy them and just give them a shot. And I was like, I'm going to start putting recommended by the Real Short Box, because I want people to know that these are coming from us, that these are ideas and our thoughts, and that we think that these things deserve, that there's a merit to them, and they deserve to be read, and they deserve to be out there. Definitely. The more people that see that, the more likelihood that in our future, 10 years from now or something, we could be watching a Rebels series on television or a film in the big screen. It'd be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think we're going to call it, guys. That is our thoughts and feelings on the future of the DC cinematic universe. And I think I have high hopes. I think there's just so much untapped
potential
that
we talked about this for years.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and you know what? I'm rooting for DC, even though I'm more of a Marvel fan. Still, I appreciate DC, and I do agree with Donald. Their C and D level characters have more depth. So yes, I'm definitely rooting for DC. We need balance. We can't have a monopoly. I want to see competition, good competition out there.
Well, it's just they're really well written characters, whether you love DC or not.
Yeah,
these are some great characters that deserve to be seen. So let's see them.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. Marvel, DC, who cares? Just wonderful characterization. I'm with that. I'm Donald.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Chris.
And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we'll see you
at the desirable but never condescending comic book
shop by DC Comics. Ching.
Hey, everybody. If you enjoyed everything you saw, please make sure to like and subscribe. Love you.